Welcome to the module where we will be understanding operators. There are different types of operators where we can do calculations, where we can do comparison, where we can apply logic. All those things are the fundamental basics of Python language. We need to understand what operators are. So in this module, I'll be giving you examples of each operator. First, I'll explain what operator is, then I'll explain what are the different types of operators we have. And with example, I'm going to also show you that what particular operator does. So it is going to give you basic understanding of operators very, very easily. So I want you to please also write the codes down, type the codes down in your Google Colab and create your own Google Colab directory for this particular module. All right, with that note, let's get started. Hello everyone, welcome to the next module, and this module will be on operators. I'll explain what are Python operators, how we can use them, how we can use them in the code, and there are a couple of learning objectives that I've set for this module. The first one is to perform calculations using arithmetic operators. So I'll write those things down, and I also want you to complete your Google Colab along with me, because it's really, really important that you type in the code. And then by typing, you will be learning that how actually the Python language works. Okay, we'll start with the module, which is, as I told you, operators. So this is the code block. I will be changing this into the text one. So I'll delete the first block, which is this. And now after double clicking, I will be entering the data right over here. So in this one, we will be talking about operators. What are operators in Python, and what are the learning objectives? The first one is we will be understanding the arithmetic operators. So in this case, I'll type it down, and you also please do that at the same time. Second one that we will be using, arithmetic operators are plus, minus, multiplication, division. So those are arithmetic operators. Next, we have comparison operators. Comparison operators. This is not going to correct the spelling, so you have to be very, very careful. Another thing that I want to mention, that do not make any kind of spelling mistakes, because Python is highly sensitive when it comes to the code. So there is no chances for the error. So make sure whatever you are typing, the spelling is correct. Because whenever we type something in Google Doc or in Word documents, it automatically corrects it. So we become used to all those things, and that basically causes a lot of issues in our code. So make sure that spellings and formatting issues are very, very accurate when it comes to the Python. So arithmetic operators are done. Comparison operators we will be discussing, for example, equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than. All these are examples of comparison operator. Next one is logical operators. And in logical operators, we will be discussing and, or, not, and how we can use them. And we will also use the check, identity, and membership with different operators. So I'll write down the fourth point, which is check, identity, and membership. Probably right now you are not going to understand what I'm saying, but in this case, we will be using is, we'll be using is not, will be using in. So basically, in case of check, identity, and membership operators, we'll be using is not, in, and not in. All those things we'll be using to identify whether that component is the member or it is identified with that particular data set or not. It's going to be very, very interesting. And especially with the focus of biotechnology, we'll be writing our code and all those things, right? So let's start with the first operator, which is arithmetic operators for mathematical calculations. So, there are various things you can do. The simple one is, let's create the code block. And for that one, you already understand we need to connect this. So click on connect. And as you can see, it's connecting. And I've showed you in my first video also, you can do calculations, simple additions like 5, and then you can type plus, let's say 38. And then another example, 10 minus 46, another example, enter, I'll give the space. And then next is you can also multiply, let's say 3. I'm just giving you very, very simple examples. I mean, probably this is what you're not going to do, but it's always good to have this. Next is you can also do, 2 raised to the power 3, something like that, because many times you have to do that. So you will be using 2 asterisk signs for this. These are some of the basic examples, and if we run this, let's see what we are going to get. So what happened in this case, we are only getting the update for the last code. So I'm going to run all of them one by one so that you can see the response. Either we have to run these into a different code block. So what is happening in this case is giving me the answer for this one, 2 raised to the power 3, which is 8, right? 2 multiplied by 2, again multiplied by 2, which is 8. So if I delete this, and I only run this, so you can see the Python is going to calculate this, right? And then if I do the next one, it's going to give me the value which is correct. If I do the next code, and this is going to give me 6, and the final one we have already seen. So this is how you can apply these different operators. We have applied plus, minus, and all those things. And for division, you can use this operator. And it's very, very simple to understand. Now, let's talk about some of the biological example where by using different data points, how you can calculate different, let's say values. So in this case, let's say you have a DNA molecule 1, and it has 1000 nucleotides. And then you have DNA molecule 2, and then you have 2000 nucleotides. Very, very simple example I'm trying to give you. If you want to get a total length, in a different variable. So in this case, let's do this total, which is now equals to DNA1 plus DNA2, which are these 2 variables. And then I want to get the total and print out this value. And the answer is going to be 3000 right over here. But it's been stored in the total, and you can use that information for, getting something different. So next is you want to get the average size of these 2 strands. So what you can do is you can also apply formula, which is AVG, average DNA length, equals to, obviously, the good thing with Google Colab is it detects the formula that you are trying to apply. You can just click on tab and everything is going to print it out for you. It's not a good practice, but for saving time, otherwise it will take me forever. But I want you to just print all those things by yourself and see what kind of results you are getting. So if we do this, you can see total divided by 2. You are applying the arithmetic operator over here, and then if I run this code, probably I'm going to get 2 answers, because in this case I'm printing these variables specifically. So you can see I'm getting 3000 and average is 1500. Right? So this is a simple example to show you how arithmetic operators they work. Now let's move on to the next one. I'll create a new code block, and here we will be using the comparison operators. And as I told you, in comparison operator, we will be using equals, double equal to sign, and then in Python, equals to that we have used on the top is for assignment of the values. So as you can see over here, when I assigned 1000 to DNA1, so it's kind of assignment that I made. So it is not going to accept as a mathematical equals to sign. So for that, 2 equals to sign you have to apply, which is going to provide you the information that this is the comparison operator. So if I tab on this one, it's going to give me all the operators that are known. You can see greater than, less than, greater than, equal to, less than, equals to, greater than, less than, and this is basically not equal to. So let's do, with example, it's very easy to understand. So let's say if pH value is equal to 7.2. So I'm assigning this pH value for any of my reaction. So if I do this print, which is pH equals to, double equals to 7. Right? So I'm trying to print out something which is by using the conditional or the comparison, not conditional, the comparison operators. So as you can see, it's providing the comparison between these 2 values, and then it's going to give the answer. Next case, if I do print, and let's say I'm saying pH is 7.0 right over here, more than 7, right? So in this case, as you can clearly see, I'm trying to get an answer whether the pH is equal to 7 or whether it is greater than 7. So in this case, you can understand that answer will be in true or false kind of scenario. In first case, the pH is equal to 7. That is basically not true. So it's going to print out false. Second case, yes, pH is more than 7. That is why it's going to print out true. So let's run it. So it's giving me error because on the top, as you can see, I've just printing all those or typing all those operators without giving any code. So I have to use hashtag sign because I want to comment them out. Then I'll not get any error. So you can see for the first code block, which is pH equal to 7, false. It's not true. So by using the comparison operator, you can get the answer of different comparison between the values. Here you can see pH is greater than 7, so I'm getting true. If I do this, watch carefully, I'm just added this sign which changes this to pH is not equal to 7 to 0. Now let's change this and make it this, which is basically it is asking I'm asking to the computer whether you can compare between pH which is given 7.2 and with the 7. I'm saying pH is not equal to 7, so it's going to print out true. So as you can see, true in both cases, because what happened is now it is comparing these two values critically and saying that you are correct because you are saying 7.2 is not equal to pH. In pH in our case is 7.2. So 7.0 is not equal to 7.2, which is true. And the same case, pH is more than 7, hence Python is saying it's also true. So basically it's understanding your communication. Machine is able to understand what you're trying to ask. Same thing you can basically do with the gene also. Let's assign a gene name, BRCA1, random gene name. Now let's print out the similar kind of code. So in this case, equals to this, not equal to this. Answer will be, one will be true, another will be false. So as you can see, the last two responses, as you can clearly see, the first one, yes, it is true, and second one, it's false. So you can apply this on textual data, you can apply this on numerical data, and all those things are going to work fine. All right, now let's move on to the next one, which is logical operator. As I told you, logical operators are also very, very important. For example, how to use AND, how to use OR. They are very important when it comes to writing more complex codes. So in this case, you can also compare the values and get the answers out. Right? So in this case, the first point is, let's say when you're using AND, and second case when you're using OR. These are two operators, and I have to use the comment out sign hashtag, and then I'll tell you what they are doing. It's always good to have the example and then understand how AND and how OR is going to work out. So I'll take the example of, let's say a particular gene has mutation. So I'm saying a particular gene that I had has the mutation. I'm putting it as false. Next is, has this gene has deletion, right? So let's say the gene has the deletion, which is true. Now it's already giving me the code, which is really interesting. Now let's also click on tab, and you will get these answers. And what I'm going to do in this case, you can clearly see I have two variables. One is false, another one is true. So what and OR does, it actually compares both of these, two variable at the same time and see whether the condition that we are providing is true or false. So in this case, as you can see, gene mutation and gene deletion. So these are two conditions. One is false, this is false, and this is true. These are two conditions that we are providing. In second case, again, one is false, another one is true, right? So if we print it out, what will happen? You will get a response as false, and you will get a response as true. So what AND and OR logical operators they do, they try to compare the overall outcome of your code. For example, you have false condition, that is in case of first, you can see gene mutation false, and the second one is true. If your single condition you're getting as false, so when you're using AND the overall output is going to be false. So you can have multiple conditions and you can get the output based on what you're looking for. In the second case, you can see OR. OR operator, when you apply, it is going to give you the answer as true if one condition is true. Okay, so it's very easy to understand, because in this case, what you're getting is you're just comparing these two, specific conditions. One is false, another one, this is true. And when you're comparing by using AND, the answer is false. So if you have one condition false, you are going to get the answer as false. In this case, if you have a single condition which is true, you're going to get the answer as true. So in a very, very simple way, that when you have both conditions, they are true, then when you have both the conditions are true, then you are going to get true output with the AND logical operator. And in case if at least one of the condition is true, then you are going to get the true response in case of the OR logical operators, right? So for example, if I change this into the gene deletion, you will see I'm going to get true for both, because now both of the conditions on the top code, they are true. So with AND, you're going to get the output when both of the conditions are true. So these are, you're going to use them, when you're going to write a little bit complex codes. At least you can understand what's going on with the AND and what's going on with the OR logical operators. Now let's move on to the identity operators. Identity operators, in this case, we are using is not. These are the examples that we are going to give. Now we will be talking about list and dictionaries in the later modules, but let me also show you a little bit over here, because otherwise I can't show you what this the identity operators, how it's going to work out. So first, let's create a list. List is nothing but a lot of values we are going to store inside a list. So let's say initially we have created a list. Initially we have created the variable, right, containing only one value. In list we can store multiple values. So let's say we have this. If I print it out, let's print out A. What is going to happen? I'm going to see all these numbers. So as you can see, this is a list that stores all the values with this particular name, right? So now this is list 1, and let's create a list 2 in the similar way. I'm going to create the same kind of list, and since I've used these codes in my other Google Colab notebook, that is why I'm getting the response. Maybe you are not going to get it, so I want you to type these codes where let's print out A is equal to B, right? And we have seen that this operator we have already used. So in this case, A is equal to B, and second case, A is B. So there are two distinct features that you can actually see in this case. I hope you can also, let's delete this one. This I'm not going to use. So we are going to use A is B, and let's create another variable to make it more interesting. And in this case, what I'm saying is C is equal to A. So what I've done, I've created list first, which is A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. B is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. All the values are same. C is equal to A, right? So in first case, we have a list. Second case, same values, but different object. Here, objective is different. We have B instead of A, but the values are same. So here, you need to understand that Python, how it handles values and how it handles objects. In third case, we are saying C is equal to A, right? So if we give these values to print it out, let's do this. A is B and A is C, right? And the third one is print A is equals to B. So if we print them out, you will see we are getting three responses: false, true, and true. Look carefully. Print A is B. So we want to get the answer that whether A is B. That is not true, right? So A is not B. A is independent. B is independent. So what is operator, identity operator in this case is doing, it's identifying that identity of the object. So you cannot say this A is B. because they are two different objects. Second, A is C. Now it is true because we have given this condition that A or C is equal to A. So in this case, we have created another object which is the similar object to A, which is C. Third one is A is equal to B. That is going to see the same values inside the list. And if I even just change this to different, you will clearly see what response I'm going to get. It's going to become false because now I have added another value. If I undo this, you can clearly see now it's true because it has the same value. So it is going to compare, this equals to sign is going to compare whether these have same values. What is going to compare whether the object that you have created are same or not. So this is very, very important to identify what is the identity of the operator, because when you use complex codes, you are going to take the objects from the previous code block, and then you need to identify whether the same object is going on. It's very, very convenient to use this operator to identify those, right? Now let's move on to the last one, which is membership operator. Let's say that, which is in this case, we will be using in or not in. And you can understand, when you have a list, when you have numbers, and I want to identify whether that particular number is present in that particular list, I can use these kind of operators. So let's create list of genes where we have not just one gene, we have, and we are going to give the string values. And we have 3 genes. We have BRCA1, BRCA2, and when you are creating list, you have to put the comma, right? So list, tuple, and dictionaries, they are going to come later on. But here, please understand this. We need to create, if we want to store multiple values under one object, so list, that is what we are creating right over here. We can create other things also. Okay, now you can clearly see we have a list of 3 genes. And now I'm saying print BRCA1 in gene in, and second one is not in. 2 different operators I'm using. So as you can clearly see whether this particular gene is present in the gene list. So it's going to print out true. That is, yes, it is present in that particular list. In this case, 4 is not present. So it's going to say again, yes, you are true. In both cases, conditions will be true because, as you can see clearly, because both of them are referring to the logical positive answers. So they both are going to be true, right? So this is how you can apply, and you can combine these different operators. And then, later on you will be doing that, or maybe you will get a code from AI, and then you will understand. And we'll do that project also. We'll try to explore some of the AI tools where we'll create codes, and then we are going to read that particular code block in a very, very basic way to understand the layout. In a way biotechnologists, microbiologists, and biologists in general, they can understand. And believe me, it's not that difficult. You can easily understand. And now with the power of AI, you can create your own codes, you can modify them, and it becomes very, very easy for a biologist to actually program. All right, with that note, I will be concluding this module. I hope you understood all these operators: arithmetic operators, comparison operators, logical operators, identity operators, and membership operators. Right now, maybe you are not going to link them, how we are going to use them in future, but please understand this. These are really, really important, very, very critical, right? Okay, so please explore the study material, complete the quiz, and move on to the next module.